before I get started with this commentary, let me give a shout out to Afro Elite for tagging me in this post. And if y'all have not subscribed to his channel, please make sure that you do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pin the link to his channel down in the comments, so you can go and hit that subscribe button and go subscribe to his channel. He does great content. We actually collabed with each other on my channel a couple of weeks ago. Some of you was able to catch it and get a vibe for who Jay is. And he's very solid, a very good voice added to the voices of the new black media. But if you see what I see on my screen right now, you will probably be familiarized with this person is. This is a person who was recently inducted into my Bed Bucking series of videos. And he was the one that was basically talking about heterosexual black men, much like how many in the academy tend to always like to do for one reason or another. And I had to literally, call him out about it. I didn't know his name. I only knew of his TikTok name. But now I actually know his username on Twitter thanks to Jay. This person's name, they go by the name Ali the Artist on Twitter. And they decided to go ahead and make another TikTok video talking ish about black men yet again. But this time they took it a step further because they came at the neck of one of our elders, and one of our ancestors, I should say. Someone who we hold up in very high regard. But what he says, it doesn't surprise me that what he said about him, and disregard that sound, that was just a notification. It doesn't surprise me with who he talked about, because the Blacarian has used the same talking point. This guy has no originality with his talking points. I'm gonna just be honest. We know who he gets these talking points from, much like many in that damn academy. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video clip. It's 25 seconds long, so we cut the time in half because the last one was a minute long. Then I'm gonna go back and of course dissect what he said.
To another generation that you weren't even a part of, trying to take credit for it, and then quoting a bisexual man. You don't know Malcolm X. You know Denzel Washington is Malcolm X. You know nothing about Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a bisexual male prostitute for white men. You would probably know that if you weren't trying to deflect. Even back then, gay men were helping y'all punk ass out. Maybe this is getting sad.
Okay, so you hear his another one of his minstrel rants, and he decided to go in on who else than Malcolm X. And the reason why what he said doesn't surprise me is because many people have tried to claim that Malcolm X was in the academy way back then. But he got a lot of nerve. And see, this is what we're talking about. And Jay actually put this up here in his caption, but you can't see it. He said, this is the reason you don't see us supporting the moist movement. They keep shooting themselves in the foot every single time, especially when they say stuff like this. It's like they just come out here and they literally dog whistle or talk ish about heterosexual black men every chance they get, but get mad if we call them out on their behavior and telling us we need to mind our business, calling us dusty, calling us ashy, and all types of stuff like that. But they can't keep their nose out of our business and what we got going on. Let's keep in mind, unless you came through a tube, the way you came to be on this planet was through heterosexual intercourse. It wasn't through two men. It wasn't through two women. It wasn't through anyone who was trans. It came from heterosexual intercourse. And some of them seem to forget that. But I'm going to run this back. We got to dissect, even though it was a short clip, but a lot was said. And by the way, he was replying to this comment that someone left that's saying collectively, what has gay men done? And that's what he was replying to. And this whole thing was just responded in a typical emotional rant. But let's go ahead.
To another generation that you weren't even a part of, trying to take credit for it, and then quoting a bisexual man. You don't know.
Well, first off, how does he know what Malcolm X's sexuality was? Who did he hear that from? I'm willing to bet it's the same people he heard the lies and narratives being told from the last video I talked about involving this character that you see on the screen. It's crazy. They will believe anything that will come out of PC's mouth about our pioneers. Someone who would most likely help him. But let's not forget, this is the same guy that separated himself by his sexuality. He's a black man himself, but when he said y'all, remember in the video he said y'all, I'm talking about heterosexual black men. He separated himself into an enclave that included black women, people in the academy, and people who are trans. He put them in an enclave all to themselves and basically had black men on their own, which quite honestly, over the years, a lot of black men have been feeling like we are on our own and have no allies. It's almost like within the community, there's sectors and enclaves. And that's exactly what he did. As if a cop would pull him over and ask him, are you in the academy? They're not going to ask that. That's not even the first thing they will see. Let me run it back a little bit.
You don't know Malcolm X. You know Denzel Washington is Malcolm X. You know nothing about Malcolm X.
So he says, we don't know Malcolm X. We know Denzel Washington's portrayal of Malcolm X. You see how he's making this blanket comment over everybody like we don't know what we're talking about? And again, this is not only a dig at Malcolm X, this is a dig at black heterosexual men in general yet again. This is the second time he has done this, and he continues to do it. But that's why I'm here calling him out. He may or may not see this video. It may or may not get back to him. And if it does, it does. And if it don't, it don't. But at least I said my piece. And you want to know what's so crazy? A lot of people tend to tell me, and unfortunately it comes from people who are subscribed to me, people who are follow me on social media, saying, Taurean, why do you waste your time talking about these people when there's other things we can be talking about? Are you listening? You're not. Okay. I'm going to try to be as patient when I say this. You're not the one that's being under attack. If you feel that way, you're not the one that's under attack. And if you are a heterosexual black man, you should be very proud that I am calling this out. Because I could just gloss right over this. You're like, oh, if I don't talk about it, they'll stop. They don't stop. Like I've said in other videos, they're like a runaway train with no brakes. And how do you stop a runaway train? You derail it. And that's what I feel like I have to do. And unfortunately, it feels like I'm by myself when I'm doing this. I don't know anybody else who called him out in the previous video and now this one except me, not to toot my own horn. And not only am I defending heterosexual black men, but I'm also defending the legacy and life of Malcolm X, someone we all hold in high regard. This man died fighting for black people in America, for this stupid ass motherfucker right here to get up on his little platform that's not even owned by him and say this bullshit. And I didn't even mean to start cussing, but this shit pissing me off. It should piss you off as well.
Malcolm X was a bisexual male prostitute for white men.
He said Malcolm X was a bisexual prostitute for white men. Let's not project what you wish you could be for white men onto Malcolm X. We're not going to do that. That's probably what you're into. That is probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this man has sweet dreams of Ed Buck or being in bed with him or someone like that. It was something else I was going to say, but I'm restraining myself right now. And I noticed he got like 1,100 plus comments. I don't know what them comments say, and it says he has 214 shares. This guy is clearly bored and broke, and he needed something to talk about. And this is what he decides to talk about. Maybe his life is that much of a non-factor that the only way he can get attention is by bashing black men. That's why I said in my previous video, examining the bed bucking trapped inside of the Blacarian body. He embodies that entire statement from the previous video and now this one.
You would probably know that if you weren't trying to deflect. Even back then, gay men were helping y'all punk ass out.
So listen to that. He said even back then, gay men were helping our punk ass out. So what he's basically trying to say is if he can convince people that Malcolm X was in Hall B of the Academy and we followed Malcolm's message down to the letter, then that means that people in the academy were or should be held up to a higher standard than what society has them at. And I'm talking about the black people in the academy. I don't care about everybody else. They're talking about the black people. This guy's literally throwing a pioneer, a legend, an icon under the bus in name, in with the attempt to uplift those in the academy who look like him. You weren't there either. Black people are some of the most welcoming people on the planet. And he gonna sit up there and make it seem like we're the ones oppressing him. And when I say we, I'm talking about heterosexual black men, because he's not talking to everybody. He's just talking directly at us, because he's not talking at us. This shit gets on my goddamn nerves. It could be from him. It could be someone in L, in the G, the B, the T, the whatever, the Q, the plus, the whatever numbers, the Roman numerals, all of that shit. The non-binary, all of them. Trans, them too. But if we call that out, we're being homophobic, we're being biphobic, we're being transphobic, we're being non-binary phobic, or whatever other phobic term that they throw out there, and bastardize. And they eat that shit up. All the time. They applaud this crap. Most of y'all didn't even know that he was on this platform saying this stuff. Thank God I have as many subscribers as I do on YouTube. Thank God I have as many subscribers as I do on Twitter. Because I understand the assignment and now I'm executing it. That's pretty much the end of his little rant. It's just 2 seconds left of him just being extra, like he was in the first 23 seconds of this entire damn video on TikTok. I have a feeling this won't be the last time we hear of him. And you know what? If it isn't, and I get wind of it, it won't be my last time putting his ass on blast. Like I said, I hope that this gets to him. I hope that he receives this video. And something tells me if it does, he might get on TikTok and make his little rant trying to call me out and probably say something about me. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first time. At least, and when I say the first, I'm not talking about from him. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure y'all hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. And that's pretty much it. And I'll talk to you in the next one.